Okay, we'll start the session since it's already 3 o'clock. First of all, like two questions. Can you hear me and can you see my screen? You can either type it in the chat box or you can open the mic and tell. Can everyone hear me and see my screen? Okay, I'm assuming that everyone can hear me. So I'll start away. Okay, thanks, Gupta. So I'll get started with today's lectures. Welcome everyone to week 11 of the course Research Methodology in Natural Sciences. So, for those who are newly joining, my name is Arjun, and I am one of the teaching assistants for this course. So every week I go over the lectures, I go over the short recap of lectures, and then kind of provide uh, solutions to all the problems in the assignments and uh, helping you to figure out how to solve them as well. So in this week we'll again go over the same thing. So what we'll do is we'll go over a brief recap of week 11, and then after that we'll have a short doubt session, following which we will discuss the answers for week 11's assignments, and after that we will have a doubt session, and then we'll conclude the session. And if you people have any doubts in the middle, you can post it in the chat box, and always there will be a doubt session at the end of each subsection. So feel free to post your doubts then and there as well. So, and during the discussion, I urge everyone to turn off their audio and video. This will not only help uh, one second. Yeah. So this will not only help other people to view the lecture without any lag, and it will help others as well. So we will get started right away. So in week 10 we in week 10 we had a brief discussion of scientific communication, the theory of knowledge, and then week 10 ended with the lectures of series of lectures on how to write proper journal papers, how to write papers, and how to publish them in journals. So this week in week 11, it's just a continuation of week 10, but the overall layout of scientific communication extends beyond journal papers, and we get an introduction to writing a PhD thesis. So most of you who are taking this course might be PhD scholars anywhere, everywhere, and some of you may be doing theoretical research, and some of you might be doing experimental research as well. And what is common between all of us is that we have to write a thesis at the end of our PhD. So, how to write a PhD, or what are all the components of a PhD thesis? So, we start the lectures in week 11 by saying that there is a characteristic difference between uh, any given thesis and papers that we submit to journal. Basically, what kind of differences are there is that a journal paper will not have all the intricate details that a thesis has. It presents a journal paper presents only the final details that the audience wants to capture and only the audience could capture. And but on the other hand, a PhD thesis has all the intricate details, derivations, and the complete methodology of how we come at certain stuff. And yeah, and some of the things in a journal paper might be a bit concise and clear to the point, but in a PhD thesis, it must be explained in such a way that everyone, whoever picks up the thesis and reads it, should be able to understand it. And we go on to see about the components of a thesis, PhD thesis, where there is a common facet, common component for all the PhD scholars, irrespective of whatever work they do, and that is the introduction part of a thesis. Yeah, and that is the introduction part of a thesis. So the introduction part basically tells what any PhD student is going to work on, what theoretical background is his or her study based on, and kind of what is the background of that work, what kind of literature survey has he or her done for the solving their problem statement, and what kind of research gaps have they identified in those problems, and what kind of methodologies or what kind of experiments they are going to plan, what kind of projects they are going to perform in order to uh, come up with a successful solution for their gap in their research. Just give me 1 minute. I think I'll be right back in a minute. Yeah, sorry for the disturbance from my side. So where we left off, yeah, PhD thesis. So um, yeah, and what kind of solutions or what kind of projects we are going to perform to solve the gap in the research gap in the given problem statement, and therefore the projects that we are going to do will come under the organization of the thesis, and it will be followed by a brief conclusion to whatever introduction we have. And many often, for any any given PhD thesis, we will also be writing a short synopsis. Synopsis will generally a synopsis of a paper will be around like almost similar to an abstract, around 200 or 300 words. But for a PhD thesis, your synopsis will be almost around 10 to 12 pages. This synopsis is to generally to be submitted to any panel members or any prospective reviewers for your thesis who will judge your thesis and will therefore award your PhD program. So your synopsis should be around 10 to 12 pages, which briefly highlights all the research activity that you have ever performed that you have performed in your thesis. And after discussing the components of the introduction chapter in a PhD thesis, we go on to talk more about text stylistics. Basically, what does text stylistics mean is that what is the formulation of whatever text we are going to have in our thesis. So, how should every part of our thesis be structured, or how should every part of our thesis look like? So, we go over a lot of components or a lot of parts in this, and out of which the thesis title, we go over the topics of thesis title, thesis subtitle, and the text. And we see that the title and the subtitle can be in bold font and in a larger font as well, whereas the thesis subtext, which should be in non-bold font, non-formatted font, and throughout the thesis, that we should be maintaining the same font family, except in the case of mathematical formulas, where we can use a italicized different font formulas. There will be a certain mathematical formula based font. We can use that, and it should always be italicized, except when we come across certain uh, expressions such as sine, cos, tan, or log, etc. And while writing a thesis, it should always be written in such a way that it involves a collective noun. What does collective noun mean is that instead of saying that I did something, it is better to write in a thesis that we did something. Because many often you write a thesis with help of you do experiments and you validate your experiments, and then you publish your results and papers with help of your principal investigator as well. So it's important to acknowledge your principal investigator and any other person who performed the experiment with you as well. And therefore, whenever we are writing a thesis, we should address everything in a corrective noun, and we should write everything as we. And after that, we have to kind of report our experiments and write our experiments in active voice. And active voice is the predominant form of scientific communication. But in some places where emphasis should be based on certain objects or certain verbs, we can use passive voice. And we also come across certain terms called topic position and stress position. Topic position is basically the subject of a sentence, which appears at the start of the sentence. And the topic position almost involves, subjects which will be forgotten at the end of the sentence, which will not be irrelevant at the end of the while the person reads the end comes to the end of the sentence. On the other hand, stress position is some verb or object which appears at the end of the sentence. Stress position is called stress position because the sentence stresses on the object. The writer should hold on to it while going on to the next sentence. Therefore, it is one of the most relevant parts in a given sentence while we are writing a sentence in thesis. And this was a general recap of text stylistics. Next, we came across one more important topic, which in not invo- which didn't involve writing, but which involved speaking. And by speaking, what do I mention is presentations of your work, either in form of an oral talk or in form of a poster. So there are certain like common rules which you need to follow while sort of presenting an oral talk or when you are formulating a poster, and this can be classified into different categories. One important portion will be the preparation of the slide. When you are presenting an oral talk, you'll be preparing slides to present a talk with, and the presentation, any slide should always follow the 6 by 6 rule. So there should not be more than 6 points, and each point should not have more than 6 words. And there should be a emphasis on the font sizes. So title should be in a specific font, and text should be in specific font, and captions and references of the slide should be in a certain smaller font. And title will almost be in 48 size, and text would almost be in 20 to 24 size, and then your references will almost be in 12 size. And while you are presenting, in case of an oral talk or in case of a poster, oral talk might be differing in some aspects, but whenever you are presenting, you must be noting down your speed. So you should be presenting in such a way that you should not be presenting in such a fast manner, and you should be clear and concise while giving your points. And you should also take into account the briefing section. So whenever you are presenting a poster, you should be having a sort of an elevator pitch where you will be pitching your idea to any kind of audience in a sort of a 3 to 4 minute talk. So that 3 to 4 minute talk, you must be able to highlight the important parts of your research project, and after that you may request the audience for elaborating the work further. If they are interested in the work, they will sit down further, stand with you further and listen to your talk. Else they will move on to the next person. The briefing part is mostly important to avoid the audience from being bored. And we also go on to see what are the advantages and disadvantages of any oral talk as well as poster. And we also see how important it is to also be part of an audience during a poster presentation session while not being the presenter at all times. Finally, at the end of the last part of the series, we focus on writing a project proposal. So many often, before doing an experiment, before doing a set of experiments, you must need a proper funding. You must need proper funding, and through that funding, you will be buying equipments or consumables, and using those consumables, you will be performing experiments. So there are certain academic bodies or research funding grants or institutes which give these grants, and to claim those grants, you must be writing a very solid project proposal. And there are certain facets of the project proposal which everyone needs to take into account, and some of them will be listed in this list, and we'll be going over them one by one. So first one will be origin of the proposal. You will be highlighting what is the problem statement, and a review of R&D status in the research and development sector of this problem statement. What is the current status? Have they reached a saturating point? Are they in need of a new technology? And many often this R&D status should be reported at a national and international level. Let's just say if you are in India, this R&D status, what is the status in India, and what is the status across the globe or across any continent, for example. And after that, we must be giving over this importance of proposed work. How much of the audience or how much people will it benefit? If it benefits a large amount of people, then your project proposal has a higher chance of getting accepted. Then it should be followed with a methodology and a timeline, and the timeline will most probably will have something called as a Gantt chart. So the Gantt chart will have uh, your methodology divided into certain sub facets, and each part will have a certain timeline of 3 to 4 months within which you are expected to complete it. After the methodology and time schedule, you will be addressing the environmental impact as well as the ethical clearance of the project. And after that, you will be mentioning the expertise which is involved in the project, which will involve the mainly the mentioning the names of the PAs who are the principal investigators, what are their roles of the respective PAs, what are the publications they have published so far in this kind of uh, area of research, and what is their ongoing work, what are they doing currently, are they handling any other projects or something like that. And you must also mention any experts in the field who are eligible to review your project proposal. And finally, you must end with references or bibliography. And after this, you also have sort of submitting the project proposal to a grant, where you will be having filling an online form, where you will also be highlighting other important stuff such as um, title, summary, keywords. And after submitting a project proposal, you might also have to write any project report, any annual report, uh, and the annual report will be reviewed by the review committee. And only after your annual report is cleared, your additional funding for the subsequent years will be given. So this is a major recap of what lectures we had in week 11. So I'll leave the room for a short doubt session till 3:20. Then we'll go on to discuss the assignment answers. If you have any doubts now, you can open your mic, or you can put your doubts and type your doubts in the chat box as well. Okay, I guess no one has any doubts for now. It's fine. We'll have another doubt session at the end of the session. So I'll start going over the assignment answers one by one. So question number one, the proper number of slides for an oral presentation is. This is a multiple choice question. So it's only one answer is valid. So approximately double the number of minutes allotted, approximately half the number of minutes allotted, approximately the number of minutes allotted, approximately three times the number of minutes allotted. So the correct answer will be approximately the number of minutes allotted. So a general rule of thumb is to if is to hold on to a slide for almost a minute. So explain the contents of a slide for almost a minute. So if your topic of the slide, if your presentation time allotted to you is 30 minutes, you can have around 25 to 30 slides. So giving around 1 minute to each slide. Question number two. In preparing slides, the 6 into 6 rule implies this is also a multiple choice question. And just as we discussed in the recap, it is no more than about 6 lines of text per slide with 6 words per line. So option number two. Question number three. In an oral presentation, most slides should be dominated by. So, as we all know, in every oral presentation, we will be having certain sets of slides to be discussed with. So, in the slides, we will have combination of images, text, and some equations as well. But if you have a lot of text in the slide, people would find it difficult to read all those text in 1 minute. So I already mentioned to you that the prescribed time for explaining anything in the slide is almost like only 1 minute. So and you have to cover all those. Not only you have to cover the slide within 1 minute, the audience also have to cover the entire contents of the slide in 1 minute. So for that to happen, you must have a lot of images. Yeah. So images will be the correct answer. So if you have a lot of images, and those images should be self-explanatory. Self-explanatory as in they should try to convey whatever you are trying to convey through text in a single figure, and that should cover almost only 1 minute. So images is the correct answer. Question number 4. In preparing slides for oral presentation, it's an MCQ option. One should write on the slide what one is going to say. One should write a minimum of text as bullet points. There should be at least 10 bullet points on a slide. In a slide, one should use as many colors as fonts as possible. So this is just a repetition of last question. So we must have very few text and lot of images as possible. So the correct answer will be one should write a minimum of text as bullet points. So because one should write, we'll go over the options one by one as well. So one should write on the slide what one is going to say. It is pretty much redundant because it will be like it will seem like you didn't prepare for the talk at all, and there should be at least 10 bullet points on a slide. I've already mentioned the 6 by 6 rule, so this will break the 6 by 6 rule. In a slide, one should use as many colors and fonts as possible. No, we must never break the font family. It should always be in the same font family, and it should always have the same color. Text should always have the same color. So the only remaining option is one should write a minimum of text as bullet points. That will be the correct answer. Does anyone have any doubts for the first 4 questions? Okay, if not, I'll go to the next question. The font size of the text, not heading, in the slide should be. So they have asked for a presentation slide, and ignoring the text, how much should the font size be? And we have already discussed this in the lectures as well. It should be around 20 to 24 points. And the size of the running text in a conference poster should be, once again, we have already mentioned this as well. So the conference poster will be very large, so the text should also be equally large as well. And this will also be between 20 to 24 points, so that it's visible to the audience who are viewing that. Any other font below, actually 24 will be the nominal font, any other font below 20 will be very small for the audience to see. In question number 7, in presenting a poster, one should prepare to speak to most participants for, and I've already mentioned about this in the recap as well. So this was the briefing of the poster. So if any audience comes to come to view your poster, you must prepare a briefing for 3 to 4 minutes. So the 3 to 4 minutes you must highlight all the important facets or important components of your research activity and your important results. And after that you can request the audience for an elaboration of your work, for which they can accept or reject based on how interested they are in your work and how interested they want to look at other posters as well. Question number 8. The purpose of the synopsis of a PhD thesis is to disseminate the work among a larger audience, partial fulfillment of the requirement of a PhD degree. Synopsis will be kept in the library to obtain the consent of the examiners. So this also we discussed among us to at the beginning of this meeting about the synopsis. So main objective is to obtain the consent of the examiners. So the synopsis will be sent over to probable or possible examiners who will read the synopsis and see if they are satisfied with the synopsis, and they will also have key questions to ask during your PhD thesis or viva. Question number 9. The sentences in a paper should preferably, one second. The sentences in a paper should prefer, one second. Oh, actually, this is a MSQ answer because multiple choices are correct here. The sentences in a paper should preferably be constructed in active voice, passive voice, singular first person, third person, and plural first person. So, can anyone come up with an answer for this? I think we already looked at it. So, answer is there are three correct options: active voice, third person, and plural first person. We can also use passive voice, but unless the usage of passive voice should be very less in the paper, very less in a PhD thesis. We can use active voice predominantly. We can use active voice. predominantly it should use a third person and collective noun, and it should use a plural first person. Yeah. If there are no doubts, I'll move on to the next question, which is the last question. The stress position in a sentence comes. This is an MCQ, and we already talked about stress position as well. It should come at the end of the sentence. The stress position is usually the last object of the sentence, which uh, involves the stressing of the object so that the reader of the paper or the thesis will hold on to it while reading the next sentence as well. So that's all we have. I'll just go over the 10 answers one by one as well, in case if people joined late, they want to see the answers. So the proper number of question number one, the proper number of slides for an oral presentation is option option C, approximately the number of minutes allotted. Question number two, in preparing slides, the 6 by 6 rule implies option number B, no more than 6 lines of text per slide with 6 words per line. Question number three, in an oral presentation, most slides should be dominated by option number A, images. Question number four, in preparing slides for oral presentation, uh, option number B, one should write a minimum of text as bullet points. Question number five, the font size of the text, not heading, in a slide should be option number C, around 24 points. Question number six, the size of the running text in a conference poster should be option number C, between 20 and 24 points. Option number seven, in presenting a poster, one should prepare to speak to most participants for option number D, 3 to 4 minutes. Question number eight, the purpose of the synopsis of a PhD thesis is option number D, to obtain the consent of the examiners. Question number nine, the sentences in a paper should preferably be constructed in option A, active voice, option D, third person, option E, plural first person. Question number 10, the stress position in a sentence comes in the end, option B. So that's all the questions I have for this week. Uh, we'll move on to a brief doubt session if people have any doubts, and if not, we'll conclude the session.
Question number two, can you discuss one more time?
Question number two, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. Like you already asked the question. I don't think you need to raise the hand as well. So question number two, in preparing slides, the 6 by 6 rule in place. So in the lectures also we saw about the 6 by 6 rule. So whenever we are preparing a slide, we should follow this rule called the 6 by 6 rule. The 6 by 6 rule says that whenever we are presenting a slide, that slide should not have more than 6 lines of text, and
So it is applied on only the text line, means it is not applied on the pictures, means six pictures like that.
no.
Oh,
Pictures, but I think that actually depends. So you must the rule does not apply on images, but you must always take into account how much the observer or the audience can absorb in a minute. How much data from pictures can the observer absorb in a minute? Only depending on that can you like prepare any slide. That will be the general rule of thumb. But with respect to text, you always have the 6 by 6 rule, that you should not have more than 6 lines of text, and in each line you must not have more than 6 words. Try avoiding 6 words. You need not have complete sentences in a PowerPoint slide. You can always shorten it to phrases which are as meaningful as the whole sentence.
right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any Karthik Karunanidhi is asking any advice on the preparation for the exam. Uh, Per se, I don't have any important advice for the exam. Uh, I would just ask you uh, like there is a general pattern that you be observing in all the 12 weeks of lectures, 11 weeks of lectures so far. So and that pattern would be like there are some weeks where which focus more on theory, on more on theory like this week, and there would be other weeks which would focus more on history as well, like the first 3 to 4 weeks. So my suggestion would be that try to focus less on the theory part and the history part, since most of them would be like common sense. I think if you have went through this course material enough, I think you would be already in a position to answer most of those questions. So my suggestion would be to focus less on that part and focus more on the part which would involve a lot of mathematics. You could try focusing more on the central limit theorem, mean, standard deviations, t test, z test, and chi-square test, and whatnot. The week 9 material, I guess, which involved a lot of ki- uh, squaring and all those stuff that you need to find out. Test statistics and all those stuff. Vijay Mahatesh Patil, any practice papers? I don't have any practice papers with me. Maybe I think if you can, maybe I think if you can put it in the discussion forum, maybe the NPTEL team or the course instructor might give you some practice papers. Negative marking in this paper, I don't think there is any negative marking in this paper. But if there is any change in the exam, so every year the exam instruction will come to you before the exam. So the exam instruction might change every year as well. So you might want to wait till the exam comes to kind of get a idea about how the exam pattern will be. And the same thing goes for number of questions and duration as well. Matthew Medina is asking, sir, the curriculum for the exam will come from any research methodology topics? Yes, of course. And is the book given in the Swami sufficient? Yes, I think the book given in the Swami book is also sufficient. I think many people have went through the books as well instead of the lectures, and they were able to solve all the assignment questions very efficiently. So I think the book given in Swami is also sufficient only. Yeah, Gupta, you can go ahead with your doubt.
Sir, do you know about the exact date of the exam?
I think you people would know more than me. Like I don't know exactly. Someone
Actually,
someone
in
told me last week I asked some people and I asked the same people in the call in this meeting, and then they told some April 22 or April 24. It was some Sunday.
27th April is Saturday, sir.
Saturday, yeah, exactly.
Yes, yes.
It was basically the last weekend of this month. So that
So,
was.
but there is some information in announcement regarding this exams. So it may be in May also.
I
In
don't
May.
I don't know actually. Like these exams were already scheduled with respect keeping in mind the election dates as well, I guess. So I
No,
don't.
but sir, in announcement we got the mail, but they have not mentioned exactly the exam date for RM will be that. But in curriculum we saw the date like 27th April. But below that they have written this date may be subject to change. So that's why I am asking what exactly the date, because there is some confusion regarding that.
Okay. Yeah. Then I think even I have some confusion with this right now, because till now I have been believing that April 27th is the final exam. So I
Okay,
think
okay.
if there is any final change in your exam, in this exam, you will be getting. I think you have a hall ticket as well for this exam, if I'm not wrong. Some admit card
Uh,
for this.
so hall ticket will be issued, I think, week before.
Yeah. Some admit card or
Oh,
hall ticket will be issued, and at that time, I think you will get to know what date you will be actually attending the exam.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Sir,
Damodar is.
any how to do the calculation, sir? That exam time, exam hall, में any simple tips
Simple tips.
remembering the.
I, I mean, so I think you think you all will be given some rough sheets to work on. So I think if you have some difficulty in writing for like memorizing formulas, I think You can just write the formulas down in your worksheet before going on to solve the answers. Like maybe just like you'll be given the rough sheets to solve problems, and once the exam starts, I think it would be a good practice to first write down what difficult formula you actually what formulas are difficult for you to remember in the paper, and then you can without any stress you can go on to look at the problems, and then you can think of applying the right formula to each problem. And since everyone will be using a scientific calculator, I think it would be a best good practice for you people to actually try using a scientific calculator in a computer.
Scientific calculator is allowed, sir.
I don't think it is allowed. I don't think it is allowed, but I think you'll be attending the exam in the TCS Ion platform, and that platform will have a calculator on its own on the screen.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this all you told some book is available for this all the things. Where is it available, sir?
I think it's available in the so in the, if you go to the main page of this course, I think it will give you the reference book. So and they will also give you the methods by which you can actually get it.
Well, full PDF is available, only reference.
I think it is actually a paid copy. I don't have the full PhD full PDF by myself, but you can actually refer to the videos. The videos and the textbook have almost the same material only.
Okay, sir.
They don't have any difference in material.
Sure, sure.
Yes. Damodaran assignment questions is enough for final examination. The same question. So, one more thing I would be saying is you can't expect the same questions to come in the assignment as well as in the final exam. Questions might change. Maybe some mathematical problems might be repeated. I don't know, but still, it's better to expect new questions in exam compare which are not relatable, but the similar style of you'll be getting the similar style of questions in the exam as well compared to the assignment, that I can assure you. Jawahar, you can go ahead. uh, Jawahar, are you there? Okay, okay, I'll just leave the room for doubt session by oh, okay. Matthew Bina saying full PDF book by Professor Shomito is available in Swayam portal. I think then you can download that book for your reference and then you can give it a read. Thank you, Matthew Bina, for giving the suggestion.
Thank you, sir.
So I'll leave the room till 3:40, I guess, for doubts. If anyone has any doubts, they can open up and they can ask through their mic or through the chat box. If no one has any doubts, we can conclude the session. Jawahar, if you are still online, you can ask the question. Okay, I think they completely.
Sir, it is regarding that exam only.
Okay.
Yeah, because while I have registered, it has been said like on April 29th. But
Yes, yes. I think many people have that doubt.
yes, yes, yes.
My suggestion would be to wait for some more time.
Because the election date is on yeah, 19th here in
Yeah, yeah,
Chennai.
yeah.
That's it. We need to confirm it before. If it's a other city, we need to plan our travel.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's all. Yeah. Thank you, sir. I have mailed actually. I have mailed.
Okay,
I
okay.
didn't got the reply right till now. I'm
Okay.
waiting for the reply.
So, one main thing is that one main thing, and I can assure you that is that while you're registering the course, you might have given a city. or any
Yes.
choices of city. I think your exam center will be in that city only.
Okay, but the examination date, why the confusion is, we have got a mail stating that exams it will be on April 19th or 26th. If it's on 19th, it will be it's not possible actually
Yeah,
here.
yeah, it's
That's the
not
thing.
possible. It's not uh, correct
Yeah,
on them to ask you to attend the exam as well. I
yeah,
get that concern. Yes,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think mostly it will be. It is online based exam, Rosalind. It is an online based exam.
Okay,
You will be offered a platform.
okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sir, I didn't receive the email for the problem solving session. Where to report?
You can report it in the NPTEL, to the NPTEL team in the discussion
Yes,
forum.
yes. Thank
They
you.
will come back to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And one more important announcement for the problem solving session. The next problem solving session might be on 12th as well. Uh, instead of instead of the usual Saturday, 13th April, it might also be on 12th April. I have requested the I have requested for an extra 2 hours of TA session to the NPTEL team. So if they approve it on 12th April, I'll be teaching the week 12 recap, and then on 13th April we'll be having a generalized doubt session for all the weeks together. Else, if that request is not approved, then on 13th April we will have the recap for week 12 and probably a generalized recap for all the lectures as well. Yeah. So my suggestion would so 12th is working day. So my TA session will be around 7 to 9, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. It will not be from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. actually. I wrote it wrongly. Forgive me for this. So it will be from 7 to 9. And even if it is a working day, I think you can summary lecture required. Yeah, that's why I've asked for another 2 hours of lectures. If they don't approve it, I'll try to squeeze in the summary lecture in the week 12 lectures as well. That won't be an issue for me. If I happen to teach it on a working day, I'll upload the recording as well. Yeah, if I happen to teach it on a working day, I'll upload the recording as fast as possible. You people can go over the recording and still you can come back to me for doubts and email.
So on 12th, sir, it will be 7 to 9, na?
I have requested this time slot for to the NPTEL team. I requested 7 to 9 p.m. on 12th April. I am still not sure if they have approved the slot for me, so even I have to wait. But anyways, I think everyone will be getting a mail if it is approved.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, yes. Okay then. So if no one has any doubts at this point, we will
Sir,
conclude
may
the
we have a doubt from assignment 10?
week 10 assignment.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can pull up the assignment. I can pull up that assignment as well. If you can, you just wait for a second. I'll stop presenting and pull up that slide.
Assignment, sir, just one question there.
Sure.
Uh, that is question number 1, sir. So in question number 1, it is given like that. Suppose you have written a research paper and you are considering the following alternative titles.
The remdesivir question.
Which one meets all the desirable criteria?
Yeah. So basically what you have to
So,
do, basically
yeah,
what you have to take into consideration is for that question, the articles and the prepositions should be in small letters. So words like of, the, and on should be in small, and all the
yes.
other letters can be in capital letters. Even the even the prepositions and articles which are above three letters, they can be in caps. They can start with caps. So option number
Uh,
B or I think option number B or D, I don't remember at this point. That is the correct
mm,
option.
the
The one which has
option
the
number D, D is correct in that case.
yeah
But
the if it
my,
has the
my
small
doubt
the
is only
if it has
my doubt is only on one thing, sir.
uh,
That is what? The option number third,
Yeah.
studies on the effect of remdesivir on COVID-19 patients of 40 to 60 age group. So
Yeah,
in
but
this case, all means on the
yeah,
uh,
but it has the
all are correct, but the only thing that it is proceeding with studies on.
yeah.
So studies on, we should not use like that.
So yes, that is so words like studies on, experiments on, so those kinds of words are pretty redundant words. So even if you
Redundant.
remove those words, the title will still mean the same.
Okay, okay, sir. So
Yeah.
it means
So
we have to
in
reduce
order
the
to
redundancy, in fact.
yeah, in order to avoid redundancy and in order to come up with a more concise title, you are
Right.
removing the word studies off.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, then if no one has any other further doubts, we will conclude the session and you will be getting a reminder about the next session through mail. So be careful if it is 12th or 13th. I'll see you guys in the next session then. Until then, thank you for attending this session. Yes.